Hey, Warren Eckstein here. I try to answer questions as frequently as I can on my YouTube channel. Here's a question that came in the other day from Robert Jones. My dog is a 12-year-old Australian Shepherd female. She keeps licking her paws, biting at them. The top side of her paws look terrible. The hair's almost gone. She's been to the vet several times. They said it's a yeast infection, but nothing helps. Could this be an allergic reaction to food? But why would the food all of a sudden cause a reaction? She's 12 years old right now. What can I do about it? Well, first of all, Robert, thank you for being concerned. But let me tell you right off the bat, there are so many different reasons why dogs lick their paws. Number one, for example, is they could just be bored. Dogs will lick their paws out of boredom. And Australian Shepherd, first of all, we know the amount of stimulation that they need. Also, licking the paws is a natural way to groom themselves, so that's a possibility. Should you let your dog lick his paws? Well, if it wasn't as severe as your case, yes. And I know you said you saw your veterinarian, and the veterinarian told you it was probably some type of yeast infection. Well, let me just give you a list. This might clear things up. This is what I deal with. My background is not in veterinary medicine, it's in psychological behaviors. But listen to me carefully. Here are just some of the things that can cause a dog to become a compulsive paw licker. Pain, you don't know, 12-year-old dog, maybe it's arthritis. Could be an allergy, but is it an allergy to the food? Is it an allergy to maybe when you washed his bed or when you bathed him? Do you use new detergent when you're cleaning the floor? Could be any number of things. Did you have your furniture cleaned? Any number of things within the home could cause an allergic reaction and start the dog licking his paws. But here's other things you need to take into consideration. The paw licking compulsive problem can also be caused by gastrointestinal issues. That's right, it could be a physiological internal thing. As I said, boredom, anxiety, sometimes displacement behavior. If the dog is feeling insecure about something or just doesn't feel right, they sometimes use what's called displacement behavior. Very often, that's licking. Could also be a hormonal balance in the dog. I've worked with a few dogs that had similar problems, and the vet checked the hormones, we changed some things, and it was fine. Could be just dry skin, fleas and ticks. Could be salt if you live in a cold area, and as your vet said, it could be a yeast infection. So what is my recommendation? Number one, as a behaviorist, the most important thing you can try to do is what we call distraction therapy. Try to rotate the dog's toys, constantly changing them, bringing in new ones. Maybe take the dog to different locations, walk them in different areas. But before you do any of that, no one's omnipotent. Even veterinarians. I work with veterinarians every day, and I love them. And sometimes I joke with them. You guys are amazing. You're a useful tool, like a wheelbarrow, but sometimes we got to push you a little bit. Have you considered speaking to your veterinarian about seeing a specialist, perhaps a veterinary dermatologist, to determine what might be causing it? It could be any number of things, as you just heard me say. It can be resolved, but excessive licking paws can develop into what's called a lick granuloma, which is kind of difficult to treat. So again, I know I didn't specifically tell you what to do, but before you can resolve this issue, Robert, what you really need to do is determine what's causing it. You need to check out everything. If it's food, your vet's going to put you on a change of food diet. Also, and I'm not just pushing my Hugs and Kisses supplements, but one of the most important things is to make sure that your dog is getting really good supplementation that really, takes care of the entire body, with those probiotics, prebiotics, all that stuff can make a big difference. Also, it's an Australian Shepherd. And if you've checked everything out and the vet says everything's clear, or why the consistent yeast infections? Is she constantly licking her paws? Is that what's doing it? Maybe what you need to do is when she comes inside, is get some of those paw wipes and dry those paws off on a regular basis. Be really conscientious about what you need to do. I love Australian Shepherds, just one of my favorite breeds in the whole wide world. And I know it could be frustrating, but again, trying to stimulate the dog more mentally. But I think my first suggestion to you goes right back to what I said. This is nothing against your veterinarian. But if you go to the same doctor and you keep getting the same results, for any member of the family, you'd want a second opinion. Now, I don't know exactly where you live. It didn't come through on here. But the bottom line is, I'm sure wherever you live, you can find a veterinary dermatologist. Get a second opinion from a specialist. See if that doesn't make a difference. Hey, keep me posted, Robert, and I hope your 12-year-old dog lives another 12 years without any paw problems. I'm Warren Eckstein. Love to answer your questions.